All right, we got Cannen Cunningham, Ben Moore, obviously Coach Larry Brown, so we'll go ahead and open it up for questions to student athletes first.
Well, Cannen, about how much of a factor did Nadai's presence inside affect your inside game? Was there any trepidation with him in there?
Yeah. You can't practice for 7-6. In your whole life, you can't do that. He was intimidating at times, but we just found a way around him.
How about defensively? You and Marcus were really trying to body him out throughout the game. What were you thinking on the defensive end against him?
Yeah, that guy was strong. Normally we try to three-quarter or front a guy on defense, but with him, they would have just thrown it over our heads, so we tried to push him out as far as we could and just keep him from catching it too deep.
I guess you had I believe 11 points yourself in those last couple of minutes. How much were they looking for you, and just have you ever been in a position before you've had to be called on, especially to make so many free throws in that type of situation?
I wouldn't say they were looking for me. The ball just kind of came to me through the flow of the game.
You go into halftime trailing by 1, you outscore them by 15. What was the biggest difference between the first and second half?
I think all year our team's been kind of uncomfortable in close games, and I felt like we had a certain composure about us today. Nobody was upset that it was a tight game. You know, we thought we were going to come in and blow them out. They were a good team though, but I was proud of our team for staying calm and fighting on.
Anything for Ben or anything else for Ben or Cannen?
Ask him, let him.
When they jumped out to the early lead, someone might think you guys were a little sluggish at the start, trying to shake off some of the disappointment from Sunday. Any truth to that?
I don't think we were shaking off disappointment. I think we just had a slow start. We were trying to just focus on the game in front of us, so we weren't focusing on Sunday.
How did it feel playing your first tournament game?
I think it was great. You know, everybody's playing hard, everybody's getting effort, so it was a good experience.
Do you guys see this as somewhat a redemption after the regular season?
Not yet. We just won one game. Our goal is to get to the championship and take the trophy home. So we're working towards that, but not yet.
How big was your pressure defense, given the fact I think you forced 12 turnovers in the first half, and that seemed to be pretty much what kept you guys in it?
Mm-hmm. Well, we try to get up and guard as best as we can. We try to put a little pressure on them and keep the guards guessing, so that really helped us in the long run.
All right. Coach, question for Coach Larry Brown.
You up?
Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I guess, Coach, was it difficult to get the guys mentally prepared for this game following the disappointment of not making the NCAA field?
No, that's over. I mean, we've already dealt with that. I think we were fortunate we could play at home. I thought the crowd, I thought the crowd really helped us. Obviously, we got off to a slow start, but I think Ben was right. They're good. They were well prepared. They jumped it up. They put a lot of, changed defenses a lot. But we talked about it. June spoke to the team. President Young spoke to the team. Fran spoke to the team. Sean and Nick, we had enough of that. But we understood what the situation was, and again, there's no need hurting the teams that are in there. We have an opportunity to play in a great tournament. This is good for our program. I looked up in the stands and I was amazed, at the crowd we had. It sounded just as loud as if it was packed, so all good.
You said this was going to be the hardest game for you to coach. Looking back, was it?
Well, I think this has been the hardest week. If my granddaughters weren't here, I'd have jumped on the Central Expressway without a car. I mean, but those 2 rigs jackknife before I could do it. So, no, this, you know, a lot of people, you know, Buzz Peterson called me, and, you know, Tennessee got left out one year. They were great. Ted Boyle called me 3 years ago. Colorado had a great year. They got left out. There was no need for worrying about it. We had the opportunity to get in the tournament. They didn't care about our lead. So the kids were really down. You know, and that troubled me. Nick and Sean really were down. That troubled me. But we have a great chance. You know, things aren't always easy. They don't always work out. But this gives us a chance. And it's not about redemption or proving anybody wrong. It's about building this program and learning to play in big games against quality teams that are well coached.
UCI got out to such a fast start. Your team battled back to pull within 1 at halftime. What was your message to your team at halftime?
Well, you know, I thought we got back in the game because the defense was great. You know, we shot the ball so poorly. One time I looked at the clock, this stat sheet, we were 13 for 42 and hanging in. And I think that's got to be the staple of our program. You know, we got to. So I told them we keep covering. You know, I told them our bench I thought helped us. I didn't think they'd go away, and they didn't. You know, but we didn't set out to trap and gamble. But I think we really got active. So I think they felt we could win defending, and we did.
Have you been a part of points being
I'm all right.
Have you been a part of points being taken off the board like that?
There's 2 plays that I've never seen. Points taken off I could see. You know, in the NBA they go back to a correctable situation, but we lost the ball. You know, he made 2 free throws. I could see them taking that away, but why would we lose the ball? And then when you call a foul, I don't care. You know, in this day and age, fouls are not reviewable. If that would happen, and I don't know that, out of bounds I think are reviewable. So he called a foul. I've never seen that, but again, they came over and explained it to me. They didn't like the rule. You know, they told me, you know, I've never seen, you know, when referees tell you that, a lot of times we ought to let referees talk about rule changes. So they told me they didn't like the rule, but that's the way it had to be called. But I've never seen it. And I've asked people, they've seen it called independently, you know, one or the other, but never 2 in one game, and within about 3 or 4 minutes. So I thought one of the committee members of the NCAA decided to do that. No, excuse me. I'm just kidding.
Larry,
I didn't mean that.
Larry, I remember watching the NIT on CBS, Dean Meminger, Pete Maravich, Jimmy Walker, people like that. What is it about this tournament that still gives it luster for you, given where you're from?
Well, you know, when I was a young boy, all the city schools were great. NYU, CCNY, LIU, you know. Some of those guys taught me how to play. And for a New York City kid, the NIT was much bigger than the NCAA. And at one time, you could play in both tournaments. I remember Nat Holman won both. I wasn't smart enough to get into CCNY, but you know, my mom wanted me to stay at home and play in the garden so she could see me. But it was a phenomenal tournament. But to put it in perspective, Fran Fischella spoke to us yesterday, and you know, he's been covering it for a long time, and he gave the kids some neat insight into how important it is. You know, which I could have never, you know, done. And I think they appreciated that. I know I did. You know, he talked about, you know, how he's seen a lot of teams disappointed, but if you move on, all the excitement builds. And to have the opportunity to go to New York, for anybody that loves basketball, to play in the Garden, you know, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. But we got a hell of a lot of work ahead.
All right. We got
All right.
UC Irvine coming in next, so they'll be right in. Is anybody, our locker room is open. Is
Thank you,
anyone going
Coach.
to go down there during our open locker room, just in case I need to hold anybody, hold any of our players?